This is the Rimac Nevera R. They say it's the world's fastest accelerating road car. So to try that, here's a test you've never seen before. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. We're still meloning. Big thanks to Charlie, who's usually behind the camera, for volunteering there. Testing G-force using unbelted passengers is very irresponsible, so I used the heaviest piece of fruit I could find to show what 0 to 60 in 1.8 seconds feels like. This car hits 125 miles an hour in 4.3 seconds. It's a lunatic. Not just making sure that the car is ready, you also have to prepare your body. Anyway, what is this car? Well, like a Porsche GT3 RS or Ferrari Speciale, it's basically a hardcore version of a Nevera. Although the straight line stuff is mind-blowing, it's supposedly set up for corners. So yes, there's more power, but also more downforce, stickier tyres, and a bit less weight. It's also a direct response to some customer feedback. I'm quoting Mate Rimac himself now. When we developed the Nevera, an important part of the brief was that it should be a grand tourer. We wanted to make sure it was spacious, comfortable, finely balanced between being thrilling and accessible, something you could break records in at the Nürburgring and drive comfortably for thousands of continents. But we needed to tweak to customer desires, and many were looking for a car that really emphasised cornering ability, so we responded with the Nevera R. Sounds like the people who actually buy these things wanted something that was a bit less daily driver and more handling psycho. The R's headline specs are wild. 2,078 brake horsepower, up from 1,888 in the regular Nevera. It means 0 to 186 miles an hour, 6/10 faster than a Nevera, 1.5 seconds faster than a Koenigsegg Jesko, and 3.5 seconds faster than a Bugatti Chiron Super Sport. It's also around 35 kilos lighter thanks to slightly downsized battery capacity with higher power output to uncork the best from the motors. To make sense of such unfathomable grunt, the R wears Michelin Cup 2 tyres, lighter silicon-coated brakes, and of course entirely new bodywork that generates 400 kilos of downforce at top speed. They've remapped the trademark quad motor torque vectoring magic and sharpened up the steering, all in the name of shifting the Nevera's character to be more rebellious. While my internal organs recover from being in the centrifuge, let me show you round what's probably the single most important Rimac in the entire world today, because this is no customer car, this is Rimac's factory test mule. It's the car that has to give birth to every Nevera that comes after it, and wow, has it done the hard yards. 62,000 kilometres are on the clock. It's done hot weather testing, cold weather testing, the misuse test where they fire it into curbstones and mud banks to make sure it can handle terrible drivers. It didn't even start life as a Nevera R. This was originally a standard Nevera, and once it had helped set that car up, it was evolved and upgraded with all the R bits to become the car you see before you. It's even doing some testing right now as I stand here, because its slightly patchy bare carbon bodywork is covered in different lacquers and finishes all the way over it, so they can test how it reacts in different lights, in different weathers, and make sure it's sorted for whatever the customer might choose. It's a very busy car, and of course it's got all these R upgrades, so let me point them out to you. At the front, entirely new nose, looks way sexier than the standard Nevera with the nose cone. This is more angry gecko lizard. I think it looks fantastic. Huge front splitter. There's been a lot of aero work on the car. We'll talk about that at the back. New wheels, there are new brakes in there. Real Rimac nerds will know that this is a standard Nevera door, not the R door with different carbon work, and it has the standard side skirt. Then we come round to the real headline axe, this enormous rear wing. which works to help generate 400 kilos of downforce, and yet the whole car is more aerodynamically efficient than the standard Nevera, which is, well, magic really. Maybe Adrian Newey can explain it. So have you spotted all the little 3 Easter eggs all over the car? No? Well, Rimac is obsessed with the number 3 and thinks it's a magic number because it uses 3-phase electric motors. Yeah, it's that geeky. So there's little nods to the number 3 over the car. The triple supports for the rear wing, the 3 status lights in the side flank, the doubled 3-spoke wheels, and there are 3 little finlets in the tear ducts. It's too geeky. Let's get inside. Let's see how this ultimate high mileage Rimac is wearing in here. Now inside, it doesn't really feel like one of these hardcore specials in a lot of ways. I mean, there are metal door handles instead of fabric door pulls. You can see that we've got fully upholstered seats rather than carbon shells with bits of cushion stuck to them, and normal seat belts rather than harnesses. So I do think that they're trying to preserve some of that everyday usability that Mate Rimac was really proud of in the original Nevera. But what's really charming in here is just how it's a bit worn out rough around the edges, frankly. There's a big chunk missing out of this seat here where one of the electricians dropped their soldering iron. The steering wheel's morphed from bright blue to kind of brown, where the Alcantara's been worn away and the Nevera logo's completely disappeared from the bottom of the steering wheel. And then if you look down here, you'll see there's big electrical test gubbings going on there. There's random bolts and gaffer tape in the footwell. This is kind of a black box recorder, basically. Hit that button and you can record an incident or something the engineers aren't happy with and then look at it in the data later on, which is kind of clever. But actually, in all other respects, it's a very well behaved car inside. There are no glitches, the touchscreen's working snappily. Been in the car 6-7 hours now, no trim is buzzing or rattling or falling off. Even the USB ports work and they've been charging my phone. So if anyone out there is buying one of the 40 Nevera Rs, this level of wear and tear, this level of heavy use, this is what you're aiming for.
Finding buyers has been the Nevera's problem. Though it's outsold all the other electric hypercars, there are still some of the 150 build slots left available. And Mate Rimac has hinted his next hypercar might not be all electric because fantastical engines appeal more to collectors than ultimate speed does. So what I wanted to work out was this: with no noise or gear shifts to play with, what's the world's most powerful street car like on a twisty, gritty country road?
I've never driven anything that forces you to completely rethink your approach to driving, because it's all to do with your reaction speed. This car is just so much faster than the signals going from my brain to my foot to say, whoa, this is getting a bit grown up, shall we lift off now? And the time it takes me to think that and come off the gas, it's gone 5 football pitches. I'll tell you what though, for a supposedly more hardcore limited edition special, it doesn't do some of the annoying things that cars like that normally do. The brakes don't squeak, it doesn't tramline and follow cambers. I mean, yeah, you hear every single little piece of grit that's rolling around in it that's being picked up by the tyres, but otherwise, if you can live with the 240, 250 k's of real world range when you are using the power, you could daily the world's quickest car. So what's it like on a normal road then? Well, as you'd expect from something dreamt up by Mate Rimac and the people who share his vision, incredibly complete. So let's rattle off a few things. This is the stiffest, strongest feeling car I've ever driven. I know it's made out of all carbon, but it feels like it's been carved out of all rock, like Croatian granite or something. It is so stiff, 70,000 Newton meters per degree of torsional rigidity, which just means it's race car strong. And then that allows them to be so sophisticated with the suspension, the damping, the rebound rates. And you have that McLaren sense of the car being hugely strong, but then the suspension then being weirdly supple. It's a beautiful feeling that I wish all fast cars have. Very few do. This definitely does. And because they've not wanted it to be a straight line car, because they want the handling and the chassis to live up to the rest of it, they've poured love and attention and I don't know how many euros into it.
This was a 150 million euro learning exercise for me and the team.
And they've ended up with a car which amazingly isn't overshadowed by the amount of power it's developing. The steering, again, very McLaren-like. There's this beautiful crispness just off centre that I really like. You can enjoy pouring it through corners when you're not achieving time travel. Brake modulation, the difference between the regen and then the physical brakes, fantastically judged. Honestly, approaching perfection. And the ramp up through the modes, as you twist it, you not only add more steering weight, but yeah, you add more stiffness, but it's still perfectly usable, even in track mode, on the road. You can use all of this car all of the time, or at least until speed limits say so. I have to say, after a beautiful day driving around the mountain roads of Croatia, locals seem to have a fairly liberal attitude to a speed limit. They treat it more as advice rather than the law. But it's just as well that the Nevera R is a satisfying car to drive at 60 kph because you arrive at jail speeds like that. It's extraordinary to think that right now I'm doing exactly the speed limit, and yet if I held my right foot down now for 4 seconds, I'd be the fastest moving land-based object in Europe. It's a huge amount of responsibility to have on your shoulders, and whether you'd find that kind of cool to know that you've got that waiting for you, all that potential built up, or whether you'd find it unsatisfying that you could use it so infrequently, I guess that's up to you. So how do you sum the Nevera R up? I mean, it's the world's quickest car. For a lot of people, that's enough. If it was my 2.5–3 million quid and I was choosing one hypercar to rule them all, for me, I think I'd still want something with an exotic engine, probably a GMA T50, because that's what speaks to me. But the person that this car is aimed at, the people who will buy this, they're not choosing a one hypercar. They'll already have 10 and 30 supercars and a yacht and jets, probably have their own space program. So what they're looking for is not the ultimate hypercar, they're just looking for the next new experience, the new thing they haven't got in any of the other cars. And the Nevera R, this performance, this completeness from a company that was founded in 2009 by a 21-year-old.
A company that's younger than a Ferrari 458 Italia is now building such a complete hypercar and supplying the world's biggest car makers with their batteries. That's what makes the car and the man behind it so impressive, and there's a full walk around of his brand new factory coming to the channel soon.
It's a staggering achievement, absolutely world class. Whether you like EVs or not, whether you think hypercars are pointless or not, this thing is a landmark. And you cannot get this sensation of raw speed anywhere else. I know we live in a screwed up world where there's weirdly more of a market for 2 million or 20 million euro cars than there's a market for 20,000 euro cars, but I want a Rimac Elise. I want Rimac's answer to the Porsche Cayman. I want this sense of engineering integrity in a car that doesn't have a 4-figure power output. I think it would be tremendous.
And you'd have space in the boot for more than one watermelon.